What life hack seems to be fake, but it's a true lifesaver? Story 1. If you're still in an office and are just walking around, always carry a piece of paper and walk briskly. Look at it when a superior is approaching. They'll assume you're on your way to discuss something, the copier, etc. I had a file folder that I wrote Penske on. None of my superiors understood the reference. A high-risk, zero-reward inside joke that only I found funny. Story 2. Many years ago, I had the fans go out on my MacBook, which rendered it nearly unusable. I was pretty strapped at the time and wasn't looking forward to a pricey Apple Store repair job, so I went to YouTube to see if there were any fixes. Found a video where some guy said to just punch it a few times above the number key row where the fans were packed in beneath. This felt like a complete troll, but I figured that even if it does further damage, I'm going to have shell out for the repair anyway, so might as well give it a shot. Gave it a few love taps, and sure enough, the fans whirred back to life and I was back in business. Apparently, what happens is that over time, you get dust and crumbs and other tiny pieces of debris into the gears of the fans, and they stop spinning. Apparently, bashing them a few times moved the shrapnel out of the way and allowed them to work again. Never had another issue with it the entire rest of the time I owned that computer. Story 3. How to get rid of cold callers at your door or on the phone quickly without being rude. I discovered this by accident. Someone knocked on my door cold calling, selling a service I already had, asking if I'd like to talk about their service. I said, "Oh, I'm already a customer, I'd love to talk about it." I was being genuine too. They could not get away quickly enough, which I thought was odd. Then it occurred to me that by saying I was a happy customer already, they knew there was zero chance of a sale, so any further time talking to me cost them potential sales. Story 4. I like the 2-minute rule. If it takes less than 2 minutes, just do it right now. It greatly helps for people like myself prone to procrastinating. Whether it's folding a few shirts, making a phone call, putting away groceries, putting something in the kitchen away, cleaning something, etc. You put off trivial small things and over time they stack up and all become too overwhelming to do. If you follow the 2-minute rule, you will find that you're more organized and there are less annoyances that get in the way of the real things to do. Story 5. Meditation really does quiet the mind at some point, and the positive effects of it will benefit every aspect of your life. It reduces impulsiveness, strengthens empathy and patience, and increases your sense of joy. It's free too. All you need to do is find a quiet space, sit down, and give yourself permission to not have to do anything for 10 minutes. Thoughts don't need to be followed up or analyzed. Impulses don't need to be obeyed. Memories and plans can be left unexplored. Itches don't have to be scratched. Nothing has to be changed. Just pay attention to your breathing. And when you find yourself distracted, and you will get distracted, just go back to your breathing. Do this every day and extend the time as necessary, and you'll absolutely start noticing things changing in your life very quickly. You'll probably notice that ideas or feelings that seemed overwhelming will disappear if you just let them be for a while. You'll be able to breathe and slow down when interacting with others or making decisions. Concentration will improve. You won't feel the need to numb yourself as much. All that from just sitting down and doing nothing for 10 minutes a day. Story 6. When the sun is shining in the morning, take a 15-minute walk every day. This will set your circadian rhythm, helps you sleep when you need to sleep, helps you be awake when you need to be awake. More importantly, it will lower the morning blood sugar spike, decreasing the chance of diabetes 2 and fatty liver. Story 7. Compound interest isn't just something to do with money. It works with exercise too. Invest as little as 10 minutes a day getting your heart rate up or doing some weights is all you need to do. You don't need to bust your ass off 5 hours a week. Story 8. When calculating how much you're getting paid for your job, include potential cost you saved from using insurance, transit passes, etc. You might, for example, find a job that pays a bit more in the future, but you could be actually taking a massive reduction if the benefits don't line up. Story 9. Baking soda is a miracle cleaner and unpleasant odor remover. You can clean ovens, clear up slightly clogged bathroom and kitchen drains, remove grease, remove stinks from furniture and clothing like shoes, and many more. Story 10. Make your bed in the morning, you will feel better. Whether it's right after making it or getting ready for bed, seeing your bed made will make you feel better. Story 11. If you live alone, you should buy an anti-chalking device. Some brands are D-Chalker, Lifehack, etc. Do some shopping research and pick whatever you see fit. Thousands of people die every year due to chalking because of food, liquids, small swallowed objects, etc. People that live by themselves are at a higher risk since usually there is nobody around to assist them. With this apparatus at home, you got a chance. Story 12. Certain essential oils have a purpose. Clove. Essential oil is great for tooth pain in a pinch, especially if you have gum inflammation. Keep some clove oil in your medicine cabinet for a disgusting remedy for pesky tooth pain. Story 13. Eat supplementary fiber. It makes everything in your guts better. Everything. Have chronic loose bowels, diarrhea? Fiber will calm that down. Have constipation/impacted bowels? Fiber will loosen that up. Have pretty normal, healthy poops? Fiber will make them all into quick, easy, no-strain movements that leave almost no residue behind for cleanup. I mean, obs, you still need to wipe bidet, but without getting too gross, you'll find that job a lot easier. It also helps make you feel more full satisfied after eating, so can help with weight management, and can help slow or spread out blood sugar spikes when eating high glycemic index foods, so can be helpful with diabetes management too. It's like a wonder drug, and available everywhere. No prescription, for super cheap. And it's super safe. I used to always be confused with fiber ads. They'd always say it makes you regular, but I would get confused. What does that mean? Does that mean it stops you up? Or loosens you up? Turns out both somehow. It's like the miracle wonder drug for anything gut-related. Taking a portion of Metamucil before every meal has literally changed my life. I have GI issues on the IBS-UC spectrum. I've advocated for it to friends, family, and everyone I'm close enough with to discuss this sort of thing. Talks about how surprised they are with how much nicer and more pleasant it makes everything related to their bowels, even if they had perfectly healthy ones prior. Story 14. Practicing gratitude. When you're getting ready in the morning, consciously think about things you are grateful for. Could be big or small. Have a roof over my head. Got through the night without waking up. Have a job to go to even though I dislike it. Whatever. It really helps you have a better mindset at the start of the day. No guarantee your mindset won't change throughout the day, but at least you can start off on a good step. Story 15. Knowing when to just leave the argument. If it lasts more than 5 minutes, it's going to be impossible to prove you are right. So just give up, turn around, and buy an ice cream. It's much nicer than trying to prove a point to someone who will not listen. Story 16. Frequent heartburn, indigestion, bloating, etc. that everyone is told to cure by taking an acid reducer can actually be caused by having too little acid in your stomach. I take a betaine supplement with my food to increase my stomach acid and haven't had heartburn in years. Story 17. This has always worked for me. When I get a leg cramp, I get into a standing position, feet flat on the floor, legs straight, and the cramp goes away. I used to get leg cramps in the early morning and would lay there with my legs curled up. Sometimes after the cramp went away, I'd be limping all day. Now, first sign of a leg cramp, I get out of bed fast as I can and stand straight. They immediately stop and I have no problems the rest of the day. Story 18. Eating vegetables on a regular basis will save you from a lifetime of pooping issues and other organ-related problems generated by a bad diet. It will also help regulate your BO. Steam them, add some lemon pepper salt, and they're good to go. Mix them with your meats so the meat flavors help marinate them. It's the best source of fiber, and vegetables help fill you up more for less, with less future medical costs than a block of cheese from the pizzeria would. Story 19. If you're going to be in a noisy environment for a short while, you can sniff sharply with a pinched nose and it makes everything go much quieter. Then you can swallow to reset it. Actually, YMMV, because I don't think everyone has the right eustachian tube setup to do this. Story 20. If you're flying within the US and need to check valuables, also bring a gun in your checked bag. Doesn't even need to be real functional, just something that security would consider a gun. A few extra minutes to check in at the counter, but allows you to use non-TSA approved locks, which should keep out the rummaging baggage handlers. And in the event your bag goes missing, finding your missing gun is a much higher priority to the airline. Story 21. Put cold eggs in a pot or kettle and cover them with plenty of water. As soon as they come to a boil, turn off the heat and start a timer for 11 to 12 minutes. Cool them immediately with cold water to stop the cooking. Perfect eggs every time. Adjust the time to suit your preference. Story 22. This is for if you have a door that's sagging because the hinges are screwed into a wood door frame and screws won't stay tight. Take the screws out of the door frame, break toothpicks in half, and jam both halves into each hole, and screw the hinge back in. The wood from the toothpick in the compressed space should hold on and keep it from moving again. Story 23. The best self-defense is avoiding a fight altogether. I know too many dudes who live their whole life hoping to prove their mettle in a fight. It ain't worth it, my dudes. Life ain't Hollywood, and what you dream about doesn't happen. You might get stabbed. You might get beat up by his friends. You might win and go to jail or get sued. Few people get in a fight and are grateful they chose to. Story 24. When I get a charity/business/scammer phone call, I say, "We never buy or donate anything over the phone." They'll usually try to talk back and pretend that's not what they're doing, but I just repeat that, calmly and clearly. Repeat again verbatim as needed. Story 25. This isn't something that can be used in too many situations, but with a lot of people sharing their act busy story, I thought maybe a few of you would appreciate this. Back when I was in basic training for the Army, near the end of basic, our drill sergeants liked to give us an hour or two each day out in the yard and just told us to be busy. I think they enjoyed a break, but if anyone was caught not busy doing something, they would still get smoked. 3 of us decided to sit in a triangle formation, facing the inside, and we each dug a hole in front of us, but would put the dirt in the hole to the right of us. So we would dig, but someone else would fill up what we just dug. We did that for almost an entire hour. A drill sergeant walked by, looked at us, stared in disbelief, said, "If this isn't the most private thing I have ever seen any privates do, fan-fucking-tastic. Carry on, privates." Story 26. If working in an office and you have a laptop, if you need to walk anywhere within the office, even to the break room or restroom, take your laptop with you and carry it opened. It's important that it's not closed. People assume you're rushing and on your way to a meeting or presentation and will leave you TF alone. It works. I never had a hallway interaction with coworkers between 2014 and 2020 before we went remote. Story 27. Positive affirmations upon waking up. It always sounded like hippie BS to me. I am a good person. People like me, that kind of crap. Leaving notes around the house that you can read when you're feeling down. Seeing positive things and thinking positive thoughts will, over time, improve your overall self-worth. Story 28. Back when the Xbox 360s were all the hype, they used to have this common defect called the red ring of death. Your console would show 3 red icons on the 4 indicator lights, and you were basically fucked. Nothing would work until you fixed it or bought a new one. Sending it back to Microsoft could take weeks, even months, and if you bought it used, like I did, you were basically out of luck. One of the first YouTube fix that came out was to wrap it around a towel and just let it sit opened for an hour and then restart it again. I figured I had nothing to lose, so I tried, and, you guessed it, it worked. I used this solution frequently for more than a year until it finally died for real. Apparently, the heat from the prolonged use of the console would, over time, desolder some key components on the motherboard, so exposing it to extreme heat with the towel could patch up things for a short while. Story 29. If you are unable to power off your cell phone and need it to not transmit so you can activate a new one on your line, put the old phone in the microwave, close the door, and do not turn it on. The closed microwave serves as a Faraday cage. Telling customers to do this when I worked tech on the phones got great reactions. But it works. Story 30. If you own a smart TV and one day the HDMI ports stop working, take the TV apart and remove the circuit board. Bake said board in the oven for 20 minutes or so and put back in the TV once cool. Hey presto, the ports should be working again. The solder will likely have cracked, and the oven will melt it enough to reform, and won't damage anything else. Story 31. While maybe not a lifesaver, although it could be very helpful for someone, there's a decent amount of free money available online with those social casinos. Sign up, use the free play every day, and then cash out. Cash or gift card, I go with gift cards because they usually have bonuses. And repeat. Story 32. Putting something made of wood in liquid that is boiled in a microwave to keep the liquid from splattering everywhere. You ever boil water in the microwave and all of a sudden it just blows up, splattering all over the place? The porous wood, be it a chopstick, popsicle stick, whatever, gives the water an area to boil more uniformly and prevents the blow-up. I've left out a lot of fancy words because I can't remember them, but you get the gist. Story 33. If there's an area of town you frequent for work, school, etc., make a point one day to investigate all known public washrooms in the area. This may be an odd life hack, but if something goes wrong and you need to relieve yourself or just deal with a body problem, you don't want to go to the dankest, filthiest washrooms around. Having a good sense of which washrooms tend to be cleanest makes unfortunate moments where you have to take a massive shit much more relaxing because you immediately know the cleanest places you can empty your bowels in relative peace. When I was in university, having encyclopedic knowledge of clean washrooms in the filthy downtown area was a lifesaver. Story 34. Do things for exposure. If doing a project cheap gets your name out there, it can be super worth it. Make contacts and friends. Your cheap or free work you can use to tell the next client you get paid a lot to do that job. I really feel like people that say to not do things like this must not be successful people. It's honestly the worst advice. Obviously, don't do stuff free forever and know your worth, but if you show people you have good experience or work ethic, it can really open doors for you. Story 35. If you act calm around your wife, she will assume you're happy and get anxiety. So always act flustered and stressed.